All right. Welcome to Nick and Jeff. Today, we're talking about Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's been out for 8 months, and we've got a special guest, Jake, wherever he is on the screen. And me and Jake have played the game for free this entire time, not paid anything. And we've got Nick, who's been a subscriber. So we're going to talk all about the differences of paid versus free TCG Pocket. Hit it, Nick.
And we are back with Nick and Jeff. It's so funny now just looking at the screen, seeing Jake's reaction, like looking behind the scenes as to how we record this and how we do this. We just look like total just idiots. But yes, welcome back to Nick and Jeff featuring Jake, talking about TCG Pocket. If you are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like us on YouTube, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify or wherever you want to listen, Apple Podcasts. I listen on the Listener app on my Google Pixel phone.
Ooh.
But leave us a review, let us know what you think, and don't forget to share us with your friends. Help us grow.
Jake, where do you listen to us?
Where do I listen? Do I listen? No. Usually it's when I'm savage, right? When I'm on the treadmill at the gym, I have the videos playing on YouTube.
See how my internet goes because it's not very good.
No, it's good. It seems pretty good so far. We're doing all right.
It's my favorite pastime while I'm on the treadmill.
I feel like I've lost the audience already because as soon as you start, like, that's right, we've got two people that play for free, and then we got this money throwing jerk over here. I'm just like, but I have my arguments for paid versus free. Don't you worry, we'll get to that. Anyway, Jeffrey, take us off.
So I really wanted to hook us in with what you get for paid versus free, right? And I think the game is super duper mega generous what they give you for free. But I thought our little statistics might prove a picture of how well and how much you can play this game. And me and Jake, who I presume should have pretty similar stats, and Nick, and I'm guessing you should have 30%-ish more in like all these different categories. So Nick, how many packs have you opened? What do your stats say?
All right. So, do you want all my stats now, or just the?
Well, we'll just go one by one. How many have you opened?
Okay, I have opened 1,484 packs.
Okay.
Jeepers.
Jake?
877. It's actually a bit less than I was expecting compared to that number.
And Jeff?
And I'm on 833 packs. So
there you go. You guys are very close.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wonder picks, Nick.
I have done 595 Wonder picks.
Wow. All right.
Jake?
733, which is actually a lot more than I was expecting.
Wow.
I know, I was a bit surprised by that one, actually.
Wow. And I'm on 582 Wonder picks. So me and you, Nick, were quite similar. Jake, you're really up there, so you must have a lot of Wonder pick currency.
No, do you know what it is? It's me being really sad and doing the free Wonder picks like over and over.
I think it's so funny because
they reset so frequently, don't they? They're like every 2 hours or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
But I love the fact that I have one of your biggest complaints constantly in the group chat is just how crappy your Wonder picks are, and you've done so many. You've done like 300 more than us.
Yeah, I'm cursed.
That's more chances to get crappier ones.
No.
All right. These next two statistics is total cards registered and total cards collected. I think the cards registered is individual unique cards.
Different cards, yeah.
I presume. So I've had 1,086 cards registered, but I've collected 4,900.
Okay.
What about you, Jake?
1,081 cards registered and 5,210 cards in total.
Ooh, all right, so we're pretty close, pretty even there. So Nick, you're the outliner here. How is that subscription money going? How many cards do you have?
Total different cards, I have 1,138 cards. So not that many more. And then my total cards are 8,295.
Oh,
gosh.
Wow.
I crack that 10K soon.
Yeah, I'm close.
So, what I find the most fascinating is okay. You clearly have way more cards than us, right? Easily, but the number of unique cards is pretty damn close for free players. Like it's not much difference. We've only got like 50 more than us.
But it's not like there's a secret pack that I get to open.
That's pretty unique, pretty impressive. Maybe you've got no.
Yeah.
No, wow. Okay. So
when you think about it,
what do you think? What do you think, Nick, of your statistics versus us as free players?
Well, I think the only difference is, like you said, there's only so many available cards that exist. And I think the only ones that I can get that you can't would be the monthly subscription, like single free card that they do, whether it be, I think, one was a Mewtwo, one was like a fancy looking Pikachu and all that sort of stuff. So there's, I reckon, maybe a dozen of those cards, if that so far, that have been unique to paid subscribers, whereas everything else is accessible to all of us. But it is a little bit disappointing that it hurts me a little bit that out of the 8,000 cards that I've got, I've only got maybe 100 more than you guys, which obviously would be the slightly rarer cards that we don't always, you don't always get in packs. So I've got maybe 100 more rare cards than you guys.
So I think this leads into my sort of next statistic, is you have a lot more cards, and then you have a lot more doubles of cards, and probably a lot more doubles of the X cards and the rarer cards, which enable you to have, more battles, or have a better chance at battling. So,
oh no, Jeffrey's cut out. Typical Jeff.
Lost Jeffrey.
He's lost him again. I feel like this happens
you won just as much as I have.
You know what, Jeffrey? I heard the last bit of that. You cut out for maybe 4 or 5, maybe 10 seconds there. But I'm guessing you were asking about like my win rate and how if I feel like justified in winning more battles because I've paid more money. Look, I think I get the gist of it.
Well, how many battles did you win? I didn't get to hear.
Well, I think you play a lot more battles than I do, because it sounds like you play more at the gym. But I've played total versus battles. I've played 549
wins. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's wins. And I'm currently sitting at ultra rank.
What about you, Jake?
Ultra rank 2.
2. I play a lot more solo just because the computer's easier to beat than random strangers. No, I've got 195 versus wins.
Oh wow!
All right. Wow, I think you're still gonna have to lead the conversation because I keep cutting out. Quite a
What's your win rate, Jeff?
Oh, well, I guess I couldn't find the statistic very easily. I don't know if if that's there. So I don't know. It doesn't tell me the total battles I've had. Only the versus ones I've won. Maybe it's there. But yeah, I don't know.
How many versus battles have you won?
513.
Oh, okay. So I've won more versus battles.
Yeah, you won more versus battles. So you played a fair bit.
Jake's
the outliner here. Hasn't done as many versus battles.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I definitely play quite.
Well, I've never played it as much to battle. It's more about collecting.
Yeah.
I think and I think that's one of my main reasons for paying for the subscription is, I really enjoy the collecting and getting to open that extra pack every day. I really only get one extra pack each day compared to you guys, but it helps me fill out that collection quicker, and filling in those blank spots. I feel like having empty spots fills me with anxiety and stress, and so the sooner I can fill those in, the better. Especially when it gets to like the promo cards, and when you get those, they do those packs once a month with 5 or 6 cards in them. So I'll fill those spots in, but then you guys would still have vacant spots for the premium cards, I imagine, when they come up. So
yeah, I guess so.
And so when you get to the bottom, that's all filled in, and that fills me with so much joy.
Jake,
you just don't scroll that far down.
Jake, I'm into the battling. You're more into the collecting, right? And you and our group chat, you really talk about, this is the crown or the double star or the triple star or whatever. So I've only got one crown card in, all of these cards. How do you think, how many of those super duper mega rare cards do you think you have? Sounds like most of us have the animated sets. But yeah, the crown is the highest of rares. I'm on 1.
Wow.
Well, I'm on 3, so only mildly better. 5's good.
I've got 5, yeah,
5?
but I got 2 Arceus, so that's like
You and the Arceus cards. Do you have about 500 EX Arceus at this point?
yeah. I had so many. I had so many of them. It was ridiculous.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah. What
Any
was
more on
the next topic?
stats?
I'd
So
love to. I'd love to see my win rate.
Wow. Well, let us know if you find it.
It's funny they don't make that easier to find.
I guess who wants to know how many times they've lost? That's probably a deterrent that they wouldn't make you enjoy the game, or it's there's no kill death ratio here, is there?
No, not that I can see. Although someone online would maybe write in the comments, "You guys are idiots. You can find your battle record here."
Yeah, exactly.
Nick, our next discussion was about what you want to talk about, the evolution of the game and how much it's changed in 8 months. I'm really surprised how rapidly it's changed, and the last 3 or 4 sets have kind of really introduced game-changing items that made a whole lot more decks viable. So, what do you think? What's the biggest changes that you've experienced so far in the game?
I think the biggest change was when they added in rare candies. I think most people would agree with that one. Like when they finally, it opens up the game so much more from just the simple, you get rid of these extra cards of these middle stage Pokemon, and then you can put other Pokemon in there instead, and then substitute the rare candies to try and fill out the decks a little bit more. And I think especially with sort of the last 2 expansions, the cards that they've added on, whether it be the supporter cards or some of the new EX cards, or even the say cards like Greninja that have a special ability, once or the little, what's the little chicken bird thing that can't be damaged by EX cards,
Oricorio.
Yeah, I think a lot of these extra cards that they've added in the last couple sets have really thrown some curveballs into the versus battles as to just the dynamics of how people build their decks, and there's a lot more strategy involved, and there's a lot more variety, I think, in how you're able to build your decks. But I think comparatively to the old Pocket game, where it was it 40 cards or 60 cards in your deck?
60.
Yeah, I still feel like some of the decks can feel a little bit limited, but I guess that's the whole point of Pocket, is it's supposed to be a little 5-minute experience in and out. But I think what that ultimately ends up resulting in is a meta, like Jake was saying before, like all these meta decks, these 1 or 2 meta decks every expansion that just involve the same sort of 20 cards. Like last time it was the Giratina and Darkrai.
It still is.
Yeah,
people still playing those decks.
Yeah,
Jake, the first set of cards seemed really weak, and now these new cards are a lot stronger. As someone who hasn't had as many battles as us two, what do you think about like the power creep? Like those old cards seem like they're really quite phased out, except for a few core ones. But like those first starter cards were super weak. Now these ones are getting more and more stronger.
It's funny, actually. I think the meta in this game has been evolving so quickly, and it's changing every set. The meta changes. There are the consistents, like you said, Darkrai, Giratina. Well, I guess why Giratina is so good is it's actually quite a versatile card. It can be used in almost any deck because it can power itself up in the bench. But I guess that's kind of what I really like about colorless cards. You could use them in almost any deck. Something like Yarn Mega. You may not want to, but you could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So I guess it keeps it interesting enough, but you do still see enough consistency. I could go and have a game right now, and I'm confident I'll see a Darkrai or an Oricorio or a Dragonite or something.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you, Jeff? What do you think of the the evolution of it since really the start? If you don't cut out again, your face is frozen on my screen, and you're killing me over here.
We're not doing too well.
So you're back.
I wonder if I change my internet, it'll work. I think I'm a bit sad that these cards, a lot of the cards at the start, just are useless now. They're just not very good because more of the later cards have secondary effects, and I think that's why I was also kind of down on the game when it first came out, because I was so used to playing the full game with all these effects and all these secondary things and all these synergies, and the cards were just like, yeah, this does 30 damage, this does 60 damage, this does 80 damage, and that's it. But now so many more of the cards have those secondary effects. That the first ones are just they're there, and maybe it was all designed on purpose just to introduce everyone slowly into the game without overwhelming them. Teaching them new mechanics, new items. Getting stuff from the discard pile and all that sort of stuff. They've just probably brought in new things to keep it fresh and interesting. But bit sad that some of the cards are just kind of useless now.
Well, no,
I think where it gets.
Oh, sorry. You go, Jake. You go.
I was going to say, just to build on what you were saying, Jeff, I think where it gets complicated is, unlike the regular Pokemon TCG, this game is built, as Nick said, around short, quick battles. And so the cards that are the most effective, there are exceptions, obviously, but the cards that are most effective are the ones that can ramp up quickly. You know, if you can have a fully evolved Stoke Charizard on turn 3, you're probably going to win. If you can get your rare candy out right away, you're in a good spot. You know, this is why Type Null has been so important in the latest, meta coming out of the Ultra Beast, because you can be doing 100 damage in turn 2. So it doesn't really do well to play cards that aren't reliable or take too long, and that's why so many of those early cards are useless.
Yeah, what do you think about I guess the type advantages, or I guess even just the like the EX cards versus the normal cards? Because I feel like you said, Jake, with how some cards you can the last set was 2 sets ago was Giratina and Darkrai. It was one that we talked about heaps in the chat of just how like everyone you versed was just Giratina and Darkrai. No one was really using anything else, and even if you did use something else, you're like, oh, I'm going to be different, I'm going to try and do this, you'd get your ass whooped by Giratina and Darkrai. But now that they've got these other cards like type Null, you were saying, where you're doing the 100 damage in a couple turns, and I feel like it can be really difficult when you've got someone that comes up against you and they've got cards that don't like non-EX cards that you only get 1 point for victory. But it's that trade-off versus the EX cards, which require a little bit more setup, or if you can get the perfect draw, if you get your Charmander, Rare Candy, Charizard, boom, you like turn 3, you're just going to kick everyone instantly. But yeah, I'm just wondering what your thoughts were on, do you prefer to use more EX cards or single point cards, or is more your strategy? Like, what do you prefer?
Is that question to Jeff or me?
Both of you. Jeff.
Jeff.
I think most of the decks I've built are based around the X cards, and there's only a few. I would say probably 70% X cards and 30% are all single point cards. And I do think the balance is there. Like, I really do think they've done a good job, because there's so many times where I'm like, do a little bit of ship damage, and then you bust out, is it Cyrus or the who's the psychic girl?
Sabrina.
Psychic Gym Leader Sabrina.
Yeah.
Like and able to like get other Pokemon off the bench, to the front to attack. And then all of a sudden you got 2 points. Like it's good. I think it's pretty fair, and I think it's also satisfying versing, serious X players when you do only have those single point cards, and you can make more, or like, I guess, slower victories. And you got to make them really work for it. So I do think it's a pretty good balance. I don't hate versing, not another EX deck or not another single point deck. It's all good. And the way the decks are kind of set up now, I feel like it's very trainer heavy. Probably maximum of 8 Pokemon cards and the rest 12 trainer cards. So some of those you've got to really pick and choose. And I think if you've got the single point cards that are multi-stage evolution, it is a bit harder than an X card that's got 150 health, doesn't need to be evolved, just requires a bit more energy. But
So Jake,
I don't know, it's good balance.
So Jake, because you and Jeff aren't, I guess, paid subscribers, do you feel like you guys have to when you build your decks, you're sort of stuck using the non-EX cards first because you don't have them, or like, you know what I mean? Like
It depends, I guess. I was lucky enough when the Darkrai kind of takeover first happened, I actually pulled 2 Darkrai's right away. But every set since then, like this Eevee set, you guys have heard me complain about how I haven't drawn a single EX card, so I can't play Sylveon, I can't play Eevee, and it's annoying because that's what's in the meta right now. So I guess the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I guess to go back to what you were just saying before, there are so many viable non-EX cards now. Is it Cranidos?
Yeah.
And Rare Candy has made that possible. And you see a lot of these hybrid decks now where nobody's running just EX or just non-well. Some people are, but a lot of people aren't anymore. And it does keep the game interesting, and it allows you to build decks a little bit easier. So I guess the simple answer to your question is sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely tricky, and I think frustrating when, like, for this Eevee thing, it's what, a week old, and a couple of days, and you're like, oh, what decks do I build? I don't want to think. Internet, tell me. And all the decks are built around 2x of this, 2x of that, and then you're lucky as a free player to have one, if at all. And I think that's the bit that's frustrating, where you're like, oh, I can't build this thing, and really, even if I paid money. It's not a guarantee to get the X card anyway.
You're damn right about that.
So
can confirm.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really good point, Nick. I really like that one.
Well, actually, I'm just curious to ask you guys what your most hated cards are. Like your most hated, like EX, most EX and non-EX cards. I'd love to know.
You go first, Jeff. Do you mean to face, or just cards that I think are just crap in general?
Your own definition of it.
You go first, Jeff.
You put me on the spot here. I definitely hated Giratina. I hated Mewtwo. And I think, especially at the start, I didn't have Mewtwo for so long. And I'm like, oh, these stupid Mewtwo players, like, these people paid money. And I just didn't want to. I didn't have them, and I didn't want to use them for like a long time. And I use Giratina now, but I don't want to because it's too popular.
Yeah.
I try and use the not so crazy popular Pokemon, but you can't always help it.
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention Mewtwo because I felt exactly the same way. In that first generation, I was like, if I see one more Mewtwo card, I am like quitting this game forever. But it's funny, but that's a perfect example of a card that got power crept like so hard. Like nobody uses Mewtwo anymore, and at the time it felt like the best card ever, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it's funny.
I think in like the second or third wave as well, they added is it one of the psychic Pokemon that brought the psychic energy in as well?
Gardevoir.
Gardevoir, yeah. And I'm just like, I didn't. Just another strategy I couldn't use.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think my current most hated card, like you're saying, eventually I got to that point with Mewtwo decks where I'm just like, another fucking Mewtwo player? Are you serious? But my current one is I really still don't like is it Solego? Is that the
Solgao? I only have mine. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, not using that deck.
Yeah,
hated that one.
It just drives me nuts. Like you were saying before, like turn 2 you're doing 90 damage, whereas turn 2 with that card,
120, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100. Not only is it doing 120 damage, but if it's on the bench, it can just switch itself in. You know what I mean? Like it can just. It just drives me absolutely nuts when I see that deck and then first turn, cool. And especially if they go second as well. Like they go second, cool. Their first turn, they got 1 energy on it. Second turn, 2 energy, evolves Rare Candy straight into Solego. He's out on the bench, and I'm like, I think we can all agree we have this problem where when you verse someone, I'm like, of course you get this level of luck. Of course, yeah, you get your Rare Candy on your second turn. Instant Solego. Yeah, great, good for you. And then what happens to you? Like you never really acknowledge it when it happens to you. You're like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker, take that Solego.
Yeah, you take it.
But like, you don't. I feel like you don't really remember those times. I don't remember those winning times as much. And I think my win rate has probably got to be about 55, 56% or something. Somewhere between 50 and 60%. I definitely win more than I lose, but oh man,
of course.
I'm surprised, Jeff, that the one you didn't say is the one you were talking about the other day, Buzzwole. With his stupid ability where he can pull him.
I've been using it.
You've joined the dark side.
That's good.
Yeah, that broken ability to be able to draw himself back and then attack again on the next turn.
Yeah, that was so frustrating.
I think, and my other one, my non-EX card is it's definitely a love-hate relationship. Is that bird, that Orochio, or can't be damaged by EX poke? Yeah. When I'm using it in a deck, I love it. It's so exciting. It's so great. But then when I see the opponent use it and I've got an EX card, I'm like, oh, now I've got to bench my EX card, and then I've got to bring in the non-EX card. And the whole reason I've got a non-EX card in here is because of this stupid card. It's definitely.
My most hated card is actually not an EX card. It's Misty. Because I swear to God, every single time someone plays a Misty against me, 27 heads, like without fail. Whenever I play Misty, no heads.
I love the moves that came out of that.
People's use of the Team Rocket version, the other version.
Oh, that shits me.
Doesn't hit as hard.
Oh, that drives me absolutely insane when that happens.
It hurts when it gets you, though. It hurts.
Oh yeah. I built a deck maybe 2-3 weeks ago with that with Guzzlord in it, because I love using his one of just like, it's a free Team Rocket every turn. Well, if you do the 30 damage attack, and it feels so good when you like, 2 heads. Oh, all that energy you just built up, gone. You're pretty much, it's game over now. You're just like instant win. Oh yeah. It's a game I love to hate for sure.
Do you, since they've put ranked gameplay, into the game, has that given you more incentive to engage with the app every day, you think?
I was gonna say, well, I feel like I can answer for Jake no, because we've seen his win rate or his versus thing. So I don't think he's played 500-600 matches and lost. I think he's just not touching the versus mode. For me, I think it gives me incentive to want to play the versus mode, but to a point. As I said, I think I said it at the start of the show, I've reached Ultra Rank 2, and I just can't seem to get that bar past maybe like the first third. I'll win 3 matches and then I'll lose 4, and then I'll win 6 and then I'll lose 3, and it's just I can't seem to really get much further above that. And I'm using mostly the meta deck of the Sylveon, Giratina, and Greninja.
Well, Nick, can I ask you a question about that? Do you think the system of getting from Ultra through to Master Ball is fair? Because you know how you lose more points and you can lose ranks and stuff. Do you think the system is good the way that it is, or do you think it needs to change?
I think it's really sort of fine the way it is, but I'd love to see, just out of curiosity, like if one of you guys do it. I'm not curious enough to go and watch pro players, but the people that are in Master Rank, what decks are they using? Are they using the same? Because it's online. You Google the best decks to use, and the meta's there. Like I have all the cards. Like I can build the same decks that everyone else can build, and it's not like the decks are full of 70, 80 cards, and you change one and the whole thing goes to shambles. I can build the same decks as the people that are in Master, and I'm like, what am I doing different? What am I doing wrong where I can't really get above Ultra Rank 2? Like, am I just a shit player tactician and I don't know all the cards? Or like, I know what's in the other person's deck.
This is what I think. The game is built on random chance, right? Yep. It really is. Are you going first? Are you going second? Are your decks built around coin flips? And there's so many times I use the same deck for an hour on the Stairmaster, and then I go 5 wins in a row, 5 losses in a row. It can really just depend on so many factors. And I think, what order does your cards come out as well, right? You can win on turn 2 sometimes, right? And I think that's what keeps the game engaging, because it's kind of like gambling, right? You're not going to win everything, but you're going to win sometimes, and you're going to chase the thrill of winning. And I think that what keeps you coming back, because you never know, even though you've got your 20 cards, it can just change drastically, every time you play.
So do you think that the people that are in Master Rank are just really consistently lucky?
Not exclusively.
A lot. They would play many, many more hours than all of us combined, I think.
Interesting.
From what I've read, there is no such thing as a unbeatable deck. So even the best players are going to be, those Master Ball players are going to be losing. I think the average win on even really good decks is still only around 60% win rate, meaning that they're still losing potentially 30-40% of the time, but they're just playing, as Jeff said, so often that the wins and losses, the wins very slightly edge out the losses.
Right. So
luck certainly plays a role.
So you're saying they're playing so much that they're slowly creeping up to master. Is that you reckon that's got to be it?
And especially the way the higher ranks are set up, that it's so much more tedious to play Ultra Ball to Master Ball than it is from the Great Ball and whatever the Pokeball ranks, because you level up faster. So it's, I guess, designed to incentivize you to play, to keep engaging, and then when you've got the whales or whatever, like, who really want to play, really put the time in, that tediumness is there. And I think it's kind of like the same as the single player event drops as well. You can win, beginner, medium, advanced, whatever, but then you can play for all the little mini achievements inside. And then, on the last advanced rank, it's win 20 times. And like, I'm bored. I don't want to win 20 times. But people will keep doing it because there's just that little tiny reward there, and it just gives them something to do. And it's also time engaged with the app, more time that they might be then willing to also spend money when there's a good sale or a good subscription.
I'd be curious on just the psychology of it. Like, even because I know Jake gets very frustrated with his Wonder Picks, and just I feel like every time I open the group chat, there's some sort of screenshot of like, oh, of course, there's 4 EX cards and then 1 star, and I pick the 1 star again, just every time. But I can't help but wonder if you'd enjoy the game, or if we'd all enjoy the game, if when you go to do a Wonder Pick, if you got the card you wanted every time, and if you go to a versus match, and if you won every versus, like if you had 100% win rate, would you still be having fun in the game? Because kind of like what you said before, Jeff, with you have that gamble of like, sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but I think I win more often than I lose, and it just, I don't know. Yeah. Do you think you'd be happy if you got every Wonder Pick you wanted, Jake? Do you think you'd be happy, or do you think it'd?
No, you raise a really good point, and I think you're right. I think not only would you not be happy, but you wouldn't be playing. I think it is that thrill of the chase, hoping that the next pack will finally have a card that you actually want, the next Wonder Pick. Because that the hardest struggle I had, I think in 45 Wonder Picks, I got the EX card 1 time. Like, those odds seem astronomical, and I was like unbearably frustrated by that. But then when I finally did get the EX, I was like, okay, like I can breathe again. Like, and it, but had I not gone through that struggle, would I still be playing? I don't know. Like, it's a good point. And I think the simple answer is you do need to fail in order to make the wins feel more exciting.
I think one of my happiest moments was when I think you sent a screenshot. It would have been 6 or 8 months ago, with someone using a Misty, and it was like 18 heads in a row, and it was the screenshot of this, and then a screenshot of like, you Googled, hey Google, statistically, what is the odds of getting 18 heads in a row on a heads and tails coin flip, and it was like 0.001%, and you're like, this motherfucker, this is the luck I'm dealing with. Oh yeah, it was so funny.
But no, it's like you said before. This is a game that I love to hate. It frustrates me so much some days, but it also makes me smile some days.
Yeah.
Not every day, just some days.
All right, Jeffrey, where we at?
Well, here's something I want to ask you guys. The app's, fully established now. They've got trading. They've got a set routine. There is clearly evident they had a really good roadmap. And they are releasing a pack, new expansion seems like every 28 days, every month.
Yeah. Not again. You're killing me. Hold on. You said they're releasing a new pack.
I'm gonna switch my internet after this.
You said they're releasing a new pack every 28 days, and then nothing. So go again.
Okay, they're releasing a new pack every month, and is that creating an extra sense of urgency? Like, I have to collect all the cards. I have to play every day. Of course, I think we're all playing every day.
Yeah.
But it's just nonstop, and like, it's kind of been like, oh, I can't get off this train, because if I'm off, I won't be able to get back on, because I'm not going to have the cards to compete or play.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree. I've fallen into that trap, and
Switch my internet.
I've completely fallen into that trap, and I don't know at what point I'll stop playing, because I remember I've told you, Jeffrey. I'm not sure if I've told this, which actually I think we would have been living together when I was into it. But I was very into Hearthstone at one point, and I played it.
I remember.
Yeah, I played it. I played it every day. I was playing it all the damn time, and then I don't know at what point I just switched off, and I was like, I don't need to play it anymore. I couldn't care any less about that game now. But with Pokemon TCG Pocket, like you said, Jeffrey, with a new pack releasing every month, I need to collect all those cards. I need to collect the whole set before the new set comes out. Even if I don't get, 2 Sylveons or 2 Giratinas or 2 Darkrai's, like I need to get every single card before the month's up. Otherwise, and I feel like if the new set came out and I still didn't have all the cards, that's when I'd be pulling out my wallet and just throwing more money at it to try and get, But now obviously we have trading, so you don't have to worry about that as much. But yeah, there's a bit of anxiety that comes with not having the collection, and so I find it especially relevant when they have the promo packs, and you have to do the solo battles to you open the single card packs to get the to get those promo cards, and so that's probably another contributor as to why I have more cards than you guys, because when it has the objective of play 20 matches, I make sure I play at least 20 matches to get all those packs, and open them all up and try to have duplicates of the EX cards and all that sort of stuff, to fill out all those blank spaces. Yeah, what do you think, Jake? Do you think do you have the same sort of anxiety that I'm talking about?
Yes, I think my opinion on this has actually changed over the last couple of months. I think at first I wasn't really favorable on the idea of them releasing these packs so often, because it felt like it was just impossible as a free-to-play player to catch up. And you'd read a lot of stuff online about people saying, suck it up, how can more content not be better? And I have sort of come around to that idea a little bit, especially because of what you said earlier about, if you finish the Eevee set in a week or whatever, what are you doing for the next 3 weeks, right? So let's imagine you double that time and make it 8 weeks. That's a really long time. And I think from a business perspective, it's very smart the way they are operating this model, and it's making them a significant amount of money. It's keeping the whales happy. It's keeping probably most of the free-to-play players happy too. And I think there's a lot of anxiety around feeling like you have to collect. You can't miss a day because you'll never catch up. Like you said, feeling like you're on a train that's literally never stopping. But we can stop whenever we want, right?
No, we can't. No, we can't. It's got.
Have you ever missed a day?
As a free-to-play player.
I think when I was on a flight, I think I had to miss a day.
Maybe I think once. Only once.
Yeah.
I think as a free-to-play player, I've learned to pick my battles as well, and my goal is just one of every card, right? I don't need 2 of everything. And those promo ones, I'm burnt out. I can't keep doing it. So I've stopped caring if I don't get every single one of those promo cards as well.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the shinies or the ultra rares or the holos or whatever. I just need one of the regular card. And it's been so annoying. And in this set, I've got Rainbow Flareon, I've got full art X Flareon, but I don't have the regular X Flareon. And that's the card I want.
Yeah, you make a good point, and I think also as a paid player, you're right. I can't help but wonder if there's maybe I know my brain works slightly differently to normal people, but the need that I have to, like we were saying before, to fill out all those empty spots and fill out the decks is greater than my need to say get all the EX cards early on so I can jump into ranked and win a lot of matches. Because like we were saying before, I feel like I've reached this point with ranked matches where once I get to sort of Ultra Ball rank 1 or 2, I kind of reach that peak and I just plateau out from there because I don't play enough matches to really go much higher. But like you were saying, Jeff, I'm very happy with just one of every card, and the paying sort of helps me get that a little bit sooner and helps fill out those spots. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, just the whole philosophy behind it, and the paid versus non-paid. It's just
Question for you, Nick, as a paid player. So Jeff and I typically will finish. I mean, we've been lucky. We've finished every single set so far. Not obviously not all the really special ones, but by the end of the month, maybe with a few trades, we're able to get over the line. You're typically getting over that line a good week or more before. Like I think you finished EV yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
You know, and you've still got potentially 2 weeks or more before the next set comes out. You know, so I guess my question to you is, Jeff and I are always chasing cards right up until the last minute. So every time we open a pack, maybe it is that Flareon EX we don't have. But do you get that same feeling when, yes, you're obviously still chasing the rainbows and the gold cards and the whatever, but, you know, when those are very rare cards for a reason. So when you're spending 2-3 extra weeks pulling just duplicates of cards you already have, and even when you get something good like an EX, you're like, oh, I've already got 3 of these. Like, how does that feel?
Well, I mean, you make a good point. But I think so. I think I've just been very, very lucky with this EV set. I think out of all the sets combined, you guys might have even noticed that I have somehow miraculously completed this EV set very early. I think I said in the chat the other day, I've opened, was it 60 or 80 packs? With the math, and then I've gotten all the cards. Whereas typically with all the other sets, it's not until you know, maybe within a couple days, or even I'd say definitely no more than a week before the next pack comes out that I've collected them all. And even, you know, Jeffrey and I've been together the day before the next release, and I've only just completed the set. But I think there's even been one. I think it was maybe Arceus, or the one after Arceus, where I had to do, I think 3 or 4 trades because I still hadn't completed the set. So that was a bit frustrating as a paid player. But I feel like the stress would be so much more for you guys. Like if I don't touch the game for, you know, 12 hours and I leave it for a day and then I've got 3 packs to open, I'm like, okay, cool, yep, no worries. But you guys would need to open the game. Like as soon as you can open a pack, you've got to get in there and open that pack. You know, you've got to open your packs every day, because if you don't open your packs every day, it's even harder for you to complete the set. But as far as trades go, that's the thing. I'm not super worried, because when the new set comes out, I've got doubles of a couple EX cards, and then I might be missing a couple other EX cards. But, you know, I've got doubles of others that I can still trade with. And because I'm a paid player, I also have more of that trade currency as well. But yeah,
I haven't experienced trade limitations compared to my boredom, I'm done trading because this is so tedious aspect as well. Like the amount of the 5 currency or whatever it is, by the time I've traded 2 or 3, I'm like, I'm done trading. I don't want to trade anymore. Or I've completed the set anyway. So I haven't felt like that's been a disadvantage to be a free player. And is it? Can you buy more trade currency?
I don't know if you can.
Yeah, well, I think we're lucky that because we're playing every day, we're opening our 2 packs. We've been fortunate enough that by the time we get to the end of the month, you know, we are only generally missing a couple of cards, and we've been getting up until this point enough of the free currency that we've been able to fill in the blanks. I think if you were really unlucky, you know, you were still missing 10, 15 cards, most of them being EX or whatever, you know, then you probably wouldn't have enough trade currency to make it up, in which case you would then have to start collecting the next set without finishing. And that's not something I've experienced yet. And if I'm being honest, it probably would affect my opinion of the game, because I like that sense of I can close this chapter on Arceus and now I can move on to Ultra Beasts, whatever it is. Whereas I think if we got to a point, and it probably will happen.
One feels good.
Yeah. But I think if we got to a point down the track where we were on a set and I still had 3 unfinished sets, I think that would probably really stress me out, and it would make me maybe question whether I wanted to keep doing it, because it's only going to get worse from there, right? But up until now, it's been pretty easy to finish the sets.
I think I'd feel very sorry for someone that has jumped into the game. Like if someone were to jump into the game now, they've got how many packs are there? Probably 10 different boosters.
Where do you start? What
current
pack
one?
What do you concentrate on? And I think that would be, I guess, a collector. They wouldn't be a battler. Now I got a question, I guess, kind of geared towards you, Nick, but also to you, Jake, as the collector aspect here. Half of the game is cosmetic items. Half those rewards are little animation doodads for your cards, or putting your cards in binders and sleeves and folders. Do you engage with any of that part of the app or content? Like, or is that a viable reward, Nick?
Look, I'd use it a lot more if they made it simpler to use. If we talk later about things that we could or would change in the game, one of them is when I build a deck. If I put in, if I put a card in the deck, say I put a Charmander in the deck, I should be able to just open Charmander and go, oh, I've got 20 Charmanders. Make him sparkly, make him shiny. But no, none of that can be done while building decks. It's a whole other. You put deck building aside, you put battling aside, you put collecting aside. You have to go to all your cards, find your Charmander, and go, okay, I want to create this one. And then cool, once you've created the first one, then you can create the second one. Hey, cool, and then create the third one. And it's such a slow and tedious process, and it's not fun. And with so many cards coming out every month, like, I don't want to be doing that process, jumping through hoops all the time. So I've only done the sparkly stuff for the cards that are almost, I would argue, in every deck. That, your Pokeballs, your Professor Oaks, maybe your Sabrinas, and your
Cyrus.
Yeah, your Cyrus. Like, I've put the sparklies on those, but everything else, I'm just like, it's too much effort. Yeah. What about you, Jake? Do you get into like the binders or any of that sort of stuff?
Nah, not the binders, not the flair. The only thing that I do like is do you know how you can buy the card backs and you get the little tokens? Yeah, so I mean, the little OCD in me likes to match my fire deck to some kind of cute fire backed card, but that's probably the extent of the cosmetic stuff. And I guess I'm kind of lucky that I've never felt like I needed to get, I don't have to get all of the cosmetic stuff. And so I haven't felt like I've had to spend money on that side of it, which is kind of good, I guess.
Actually, you know what? I do have I don't know if it'll make you laugh or enrage you, but there was a girl I was seeing in, I want to say December last year, or even maybe very early, like first week or two.
You're
of January.
seeing a girl, yes.
Anyway, yes. But she, her username in TCG Pocket was, I'm gonna get it wrong, but it was like big boobs or something. And she'd set up and done binders and like made sparkly cards, and because of that, I'm not sure if you remember, you get likes for people liking your binders or people liking your special card.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. If someone looks at your binder set of your collection of 30 cards, or even just the single card that you have framed, you get a shop ticket. And so every day she'd log in and she had hundreds and hundreds of shop tickets because people were liking her binders.
Wow.
And I'm like, I mean, she put a little bit of effort into making binders, and I did at the start, but I didn't get nowhere near as many likes, and geez, it shit me. So yeah, hundreds and hundreds of shop tickets.
I haven't engaged with any of that since the very beginning of the app. I don't care about it. The only thing I do like is the playmats. I love the playmats, and I feel like I'm even rewarded as a free player because if the paid exclusive ones appear on the other players' turns. So I still get to experience that. And my other favorite thing, like you said, Jake, about the card covers and like matching the coins, I really like to make, it's a fire deck. Oh, but surprise, I've got the water covers, like, or like cute little Totodile or whatever it is. Just I'd didn't see that one coming. Like, so that's really cute. I like that. Sort of bringing our conversation towards the end, maybe, but nearly there. We've got your favorite cards. So, like, what is your favorite card you've pulled? What is the most rarest, coolest card you've got that you're proud to show off? Or ones you like to use in the battle the most, I guess?
Oh, you go first, Jeffrey. I want to know yours first.
Me? Rainbow Border Articuno, because incredible, how could you not? And then I felt like 80 damage with the Misty felt good, and used that heaps at the start. When I got the who's the Black Myth Wukong guy? Who's the
Infernape.
The Rainbow Infernape when he's on like the Cloud9 or whatever, and I'm just like, yes, Nick wants his card so bad, and he doesn't have it. He's paid money, and I haven't paid a single thing. I loved using that card, and his little flame kick when it did 150 damage, and it discarded the 2 energy, and he had free retreat. Like, oh man, that was like one of my favorites to use. And then my other one is Crobat when you pair it with Arceus, and they would just do like the snipe 30 damage. you'd have 2 Crobats on either side of you, pew pew, like doing 63 damage, and like favorite cards. Better than the Greninja. He only did 20.
Okay, interesting.
Jake, favorite card?
Looks wise, my favorite cards are probably also rainbows, just because I think they have some of the best art style. So my first rainbow actually was up. It was in about the 5th set that had released. It took a really long time for me to get one, and it was the Pikachu from the second time they released a Pikachu EX.
Yes.
And that one looked really cool. But my all-time favorite artwork is the Rainbow Incineroar. You know how he's kind of like. Do you know the card?
Yeah.
He's like in a boxing ring. Yeah, that just looks really, really cool. I haven't even used it, but I just like the look of it. Cards to play. I actually really enjoy. It's not easy necessarily to win with it, but I just find it really funny. Is the Porygon Z, how you can really mess with everybody's energies.
Interesting.
I do think about that card quite a lot, and I haven't seen people use it against me, but I think it would be fun, but as a stage 3 Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And by the time the other player has also, their energy up, they've probably got 2 or 3 of the energy they need, and the last one's like colorless anyway. But yeah, I do think it's cool, and it's also one of those things only can be done in the digital, version of this game, which I think is cool.
But yeah, probably in the beginning, Articuno as well. He was such a good card for quite a few seasons. Because all you needed to do was just run 2 Articunos, some Misties, pray to the RNG gods, and you could just win so many fights.
I think my favorite cards are all the animated cards. I think they're something really special, and I'm a bit sad that I'm still missing the Solego and what's the Luna one? I'm missing Lunala. I'm missing both of those, but I've got all the others, and I think they're the first time you unlock your animated card with the first one I got.
Is there animated ones of those?
No,
Did I missed those. I thought they were items.
Were they?
I
don't know.
Jeff's right. They weren't actually.
True. Well,
I thought you were missing Arceus.
I know. It's the thing. Arceus is one I'm missing, but I think Arceus is one of my favorite cards because I have 2 of those gold crowns. So when I used the deck and I had 2 gold Arceus, it was like the biggest dick swinging thing that I could do. But one of my favorite ones was I've got the Rainbow Darkrai. I think he was really cool.
Oh yeah,
he's great.
Yeah, I got him from a wonder pick, so I didn't even pull him from a deck. But especially since there was Darkrai and Giratina were probably even more used and beaten than Mewtwo. It was just cool when that was in everyone's deck, and it was just a cool looking card to have. Like everyone else had Darkrai, but I had the Rainbow Darkrai. So I always thought that was really cool. My other one is I really like this Rainbow Alolan Raichu.
Alolan Raichu.
Yeah, I think he's just really cute and just sort of really happy, colorful card. I think it's just something really nice. But yeah, apart from that, just all the animated cards. And as far as animated cards go, the Eevee one is the coolest one. I think it's the best one.
I haven't spoiled myself. I haven't got it yet.
What?
I haven't watched it online.
Oh,
it just looks like a really good card.
Yeah, I actually made it my phone background. That's I don't know.
There we go.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that Incineroar, I know that one.
Damn, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, I want to show off my rainbows.
Oh, your phone's busy keeping you alive. Don't
No, I've turned it off. I think it's better without it.
Actually, I do think this Sylveon is really cool too.
That Sylveon's really pretty.
Oh, that is incredible.
Damn it.
Yeah, the rainbows.
Describe
so
that for
good.
the audio listeners.
Google audio listeners. The Sylveon's really pretty. Yeah, especially since it's in the meta now. That's a cool card to have. It's when it's one of the more powerful cards. Yeah, I'd be curious to know before we wrap it up, what would you change about the game? What would be some changes that you'd like to see?
Oh, I can start on this one.
Yeah, go.
Lay into it.
I'm looking at my rainbows.
All right, Jake.
I'll just do that one for Nick.
just more salt in the wound.
My Infernape X.
Especially because that's when I was really into Wukong, and just I had all this Wukong big dig energy, and I was like, I need that Infernape. I nearly spent money to just buy more of those packs to try and get Infernape.
No, I think as the person who enjoys battling the most, it is building decks. I am so frustrated at how the building the deck
Yeah.
experience is.
Yeah.
And it's only 20 cards, and I can't believe how frustrating it is to select everything and how useless the search function is. How annoying the recent searches takes up the entire screen space, and it serves no purpose.
No one has ever
Or the
touched any of
amount of
those buttons.
times I go to write something, I just put like F for alligator, or I don't know, whatever the Pokemon name is, but I haven't unticked items, or I haven't unticked like it's water or electricity or whatever. Like, it's just so tedious to build stuff. And then you've got, oh, cool, here's the perfect example of Eevee. Cool, search for Eevee. It does show you cards related to Eevee, but it doesn't let you choose them to add to your deck. So then I've got to type Eevee, I've got to type Sylveon, I've got to type Flareon, and then I've got to choose the right energy. If I make an alteration to my deck, it will automatically choose the energy types for me as well. So when there's a lot of Skarmory Magnezone decks,
It's so
and
annoying.
and I would edit my deck so it would use the regular card instead of the promo cards, because that doesn't count as a 1, 2, 3 star ranking or whatever.
Oh god.
So that to me is the most frustrating bit that could be just fixed so easily with a search that actually works or auto populates. That's my biggest frustration.
Yeah, I think you
stops me from building, playing more.
Yeah, you hit a big nail on the head there. Absolutely. Yeah, I think all of us would very much agree with that one. Do you have anything, Jake, that you'd like to change or see?
I mean, I agree absolutely with what Jeff just said. If I had to pick just one thing in general, it would be the UI is pretty atrocious in this game. I think everything is just so much more difficult than it should be, and that includes deck building and all of that. But I find you want to find something, you got to dig into menus. You know, you want to go to a certain part of the shop. I'll be like, okay, which part of the shop do I have to go to be able to trade my special coins? And then you go to the wrong spot, and then you press a button, and then you get to the wrong place. It's confusing. This app feels like it's designed to waste your time, and I genuinely think it was built that way for a reason. Oops, I don't know what's going on with my camera.
Oh, we've lost Jake. That's right, your audio is still working.
Oh, yeah. So it feels like it's trying to waste your time. You know, they want you to click a million times when you could click once, because it shows engagement with the app. It keeps you in the app for 10 minutes when you might have only stayed for 2.
The biggest example is, like, you know, you play those promo events and you've got to open one pack for one card at a time.
Oh,
go through
yes.
all those animations.
Yep. Infuriating.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one as well. With those single solo packs, like, if I collect 5 or 10, just let me open them all up at once. Or just, if I have 4, just open up the 4. Like, why are we opening up one at a time? Oh. Yeah, no, you both make very, very valid points. And just like hearing you complain about them is like, it's very vindicating and makes me feel good inside. And I guess I agree with them both wholeheartedly, probably more than my complaint, which is, I would have mentioned yours first, but because we're trying to keep it different. As a paid player, like we said before, I have 8,295 cards. I think I have almost double what Jeff has, right? But obviously we still have almost the same total number of different cards, right? But like we were saying before, the fact that I'm paid, I've got duplicates, triplicates, quadruplicates. I've got 10, I've got 20 Charmanders. I should be able to show that off with the creating the, what's it called? The flashiness of it, a lot simpler. I don't want to take a day off and spend time going, okay, cool. This is the current meta deck. Cool. I'll go in and find all my EVs. Yep, cool. Now make all the EVs sparkly. Cool. Now there's all my Sylveons. Cool. Let's make all the Sylveon. Now my Greninjas. Let's make all the Greninjas sparkly. When you build the deck, I should just be able to do it. Or when you get, multiples of the same, it should just happen. It's very, very frustrating. And another one that is very high up on my list that you said before, Jeffrey, was when you do the solo missions, and you've got the challenges that are win with only 1, 2, and 3 diamond decks. And I think that does go to show, like you were saying before, you don't need to be a paid player to beat powerful decks. You can use basic 1, 2, and 3 stars to win against almost any deck.
And they're good, unique challenges as well. It's just frustrating to build the deck.
Yeah, especially when, like you said, as I have, we have these rainbow cards, and some of them, are one of the ones that I like, or these, say, full art cards is a big one. I can have a full art Wheezing, and I use Wheezing a lot. I feel like when I do the 3-star decks, and I need to use Poison or something like that, he's a good pick. But I can't use the full art one. I have to go in and find I've got to find the shit one that's 3 stars. And like I said, I can have a deck that is exactly able to transfer across to be able to meet those requirements to get the prize. But no, I have to go in and change Wheezing to the shit one. I got to change this one to the shit one.
It really should, like, that criteria should be win without using EX cards.
Yes,
I think that would simplify that situation a whole lot more.
But yeah, like you said, it all comes down to that deck building, which is a pain in the ass.
So, we did a bit of our frustrations. What about improvements? Jake, is there anything you think could be just like, yeah, that'll be a really good, neat addition, something sort of positive rather than, complaining about what's there?
Something positive rather than... I can certainly think of things that they could do better. I hope that they... I choose to look at this as a positive. I hope that they can evolve the battle system a little bit going forward. I mean, I appreciate that it's a more simplistic version of the real game, and I don't ever think it should. It's never going to be like that, and it never should be. But I like to hope that going forward, not just with new cards, I guess with new cards, but find ways to make it more interesting, especially in the meta, because it would be so great to be able to log on to ranked and not just see the same 3 decks. Like, find a way that they can keep finding ways that they can make more cards viable. Rare Candy was a great start. Maybe you could bring in Great Balls or Ultra Balls, or it gets tricky because of the low card number, but other ways that you can then make cards that would otherwise be considered pretty useless more useful. That's probably what I would hope for.
I think I would, like you were saying before, Jeff, to make deck building a little bit easier. When you go online and find the meta, there should be like a copy button so you can paste. Hearthstone had that when you found a deck online. You could copy and then go in and then paste from clipboard, and then you got your cards there. I think that would be a great addition. And to build off what you said before, Jake, it was the same with Pokemon Unite. When these free-to-play games, you got 50 different windows that you can collect all your prizes from, and it's frustrating, it's confusing. And when you're a premium player,
tap here for the red icon.
Yeah, and when you're a premium player, there's even more things to get, more boxes to go into to collect more things, and it's just tedious and stupid. But I think, like you're saying, as far as the gameplay goes, to build it and make it better, I would like to see them completely obliterate and get rid of the type advantage in the game. Obviously, in the main card game, it's 50% extra.
Huge.
It's 50% extra damage. So if you come across someone that's using a deck that counters yours, like electricity and water, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. In this one, they've gone a little bit easier, so you're not as screwed. But if I'm using a water deck and someone's using an electric, it's just like, you just roll your eyes. You're like, of course. All right, well, this is like, it's not impossible to win, but it's just like, it's frustrating when, you both have a Pokemon out that, yours does 20 damage, theirs does 20 damage, but because of the type advantage, theirs does 40. I think the type advantages, or the different types of Pokemon, obviously is important to keep different decks. You can have a water deck, you have a fire deck, but get rid of the extra damage. I think that makes the game unfair.
I think that incentive in the single player missions to use a deck that the computer player is using and you're weak to it is actually kind of also a good risk reward as well. So I think if you can manage to do that, that reward is actually double the value of this other reward instead.
True.
So I think that's really good. I think I wish there was more different incentives other than just winning. It could be, for this week, we want you to win by getting 4 points, right? So you got to knock out some X card, or this ranked season is non-X cards, or this week is you have water or electricity, or water or fire, or just grass and steel or something. Just something incentive, or it could be like get 2 KOs with a steel Pokemon. Right? It just gives you an extra incentive, and then when you're playing ranked or just even just regular versus, you'd see a different combination of decks as well. The other big one in the previous TCG live version, it would be like play 2 matches without conceding. And conceding's fine. Like I don't have a problem with that, but just there was always a daily mission or daily reward to do something different or play the game differently. I think that will come, but I think that would be a really good extra incentive to see different stuff. And to me, it's using the same deck for the month, right? I'd be choosing more different decks continuously.
They should just bring some more custom rules into the non-ranked. So something simple, non-EX. You know, have, and then as you said, maybe they can have themed events. You know, everybody who plays in this, you know, not only can you not use EX, but you also have to use, I don't know, no items or something. I don't know. You could keep it interesting in that way.
You make a
no item one. That'd actually be really interesting.
Well, you got my brain.
That would change.
You got my brain thinking now about some fun different modes you could do. Like you said, Jeffrey, with different every week or every day, there's use only steel Pokemon, use only poison Pokemon. Remember when we played the games back in the day, and it was at Ruby and Sapphire that came out, and they introduced double battles. So like maybe having 2 Pokemon in the active spot, you know, something different. You know, it could be really fun. Yeah,
there'll definitely be certain things. We've been going for probably an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 5.
Is there anything else? An hour and 5. I think that's. Is there anything else you want to add to this conversation about, you know, TCG Pocket paid versus free?
I guess my question to Nick would be, do you still feel that paying is worth it after all this time?
Yes, and not necessarily for the collecting and, you know, I'm able to get all these extra cards. Look how many more cards I've got. It's more just about the fact that this could be taken so many different ways, but I want to support the things that make me happy and the things that I like. And so, you know, the game's been out for what, 9 months? Probably
8 months.
Yeah, 8 months. 8 months. And I play it every day. Every day. Sometimes I open it up 4 or 5 times a day. Sometimes maybe just once to do my daily missions because I'm busy. I got to move on. But I've played it consistently almost every day. You know, it's brought me. I'm sure you guys are probably the same. I reckon I've played 200 hours. It doesn't tell you, but at a guess, like I've played dozens and dozens of hours in this game.
Easily, would it even be a question that this is the most played video game, you know, for each of us?
Yeah.
For the year, I'd say easily.
It might be.
Probably.
It very well might be. And so to be able to give something back to the people, you know, it's a subscription of $15 a month. I pay more for Netflix, and I think I spend less time on Netflix than I do on Pokemon Pocket. And so to give something back to the people that bring me so much joy, and like Pokemon's already this massive giant juggernaut of you know, happiness for everybody, but to give something back to make sure they keep producing content and to keep you know, trying to add extra things and make extra things. I think that's sort of another way that I like to justify getting the extra stuff.
Obviously, you know, not Game Freak, who makes it? Creatures, right? You make Creatures and DNA, you know, very happy with that statement. And I'm glad it does, you know, bring you joy and happiness, and I really do like that. Do you see us as the free players? Like, oh, you're just piggybacking off my, you know, my paid experience?
No, not at all. Because even like, you know, with people that on YouTube, or, you know, they do free content for everything because of the exposure, and even just, you know, think about when the game first came out and all the memes that come out behind Misty and just all the Mewtwo things. It's like the content that people make because of the game coming out. You know, marketing can be free. So like when people do a YouTube channel, they have ads. Even though we're not giving them money, they're still kind of getting stuff from that. So I don't know. Like Pokemon it's perpetuating that cycle and that wheel of Pokemon. So even though you may or may not be spending money on this particular game, it still brings up your love for Pokemon more and more. So maybe you know, because of this game, there's Pokemon that I didn't know their names before from generations that I didn't play as much that I now will never forget. And so you guys are probably the same. There might be new Pokemon that you like. There might be Pokemon that you hate. But when you go to the Pokemon Center or you go to the Pokemon store, you see something online, you might buy something in the future because of this game. So like it's still, you know, the wheel still goes around.
I've slowly learnt some of the Ultra Beast names.
Yes.
Beasts are cool.
TCG Pocket. Jake, as the free player, any final statements?
I guess all I would say is you guys know how I feel about this. I've got a love-hate relationship with this game. I mean, I enjoy it. You know, I wouldn't be playing it every day if I didn't. It can be frustrating, and I feel like I've probably reached the point now where I'm never going to spend money on it, and that's probably a good thing. I've gotten too far past that point. If I'd maybe thought about it more after 2 or 3 months, I probably could have started paying for the monthly subscription and would have felt like I was getting some value. I think now I'm happy just to open my 2 packs a day, be a little bit annoyed and close the app. but no, like
But the thing is, you can engage with the app with like open the packs, do one wonder pick, collect your daily thing, and you're done. Like you don't need to spend more than 5 minutes playing if you don't want.
And that's it. And I get 5 to 10 minutes of enjoyment out of it per day. It costs me nothing. And so yeah, is it a good game? Yes.
The 5 to 10 minutes of enjoyment is also I just imagine you're like, oh, I've only got time to quickly open. Cool, my 2 packs. Yep, all these 1 and 2 star cards. Nothing special. Now one to pick. Trash as well. Good, done for the day. Just like
throw spoon in river.
I think part of my enjoyment is how far can I get for free, and did I get as far as I wanted? And like I have so far, and that means I beat the system. Oh, suckers, you try to make me pay money, and I didn't need to. And I walk away satisfied. And Pokemon is not a it's not a game, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Pokemon is a lifestyle, and so hopefully we can all, you know, open Pokemon the toothbrushing one tonight, and Nick can Pokemon sleep happily.
Yes.
Oh my
sure
god, There's a whole video on Pokemon Sleep ready to be made.
With my other subscription. I've got 2 Pokemon subscriptions.
Well, with that, thank you so much. If you've enjoyed us, if you enjoyed having Jake as a special guest, wherever he is in the picture, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry about my internet. We'll see if I can make it better next time. But yeah, we're Nick and Jeff, and this is Jake. And please follow us. Give us a thumbs up on wherever you're watching, or star rating on podcast services of your choice. And we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, love you, Jake. Love you, Jeff.
Bye, boys.
Love
you,
everybody. Love you, Jake.
Love yous.
Bye.
And
then
cue
Nick
the
plays
music.
outro.
But I'm fixing this so you can hear us.
Oh, you can still hear us in the music?
So we can talk on the outro. Yeah.
Is the music in the other Pokemon